Yeah, hi, my name is Akhilesh and I welcome you all to the Tech Shot Show. Today we have Mr. Mahendra Upadhyay to talk on new age technologies and its business usage. Mahendra is CIO and CTO of Bark India and comes with 18 plus experience in telecom, banking, retail, media and advertisement industry with expertise in data value chain. Welcome to the show, Mahendra.
Hey, hi, thanks, Akhilesh. Good afternoon. And I really appreciate this kind of forum where we can discuss our challenges as well as the new initiatives we are taking. And also, we can reach out to the world and understand actually how technology is helping in these turbulent times. So, let's start. Thank you.
So coming straight to the point, Mahendra. So my first question is how you leverage the latest technology and innovation at Bark.
So, technology is ever changing, and the kind of business we are in the business of the measurement science, right? And we are the what we are the joint body which is responsible for producing the TV measurements and which acts like a currency for the ad industry, right? What we do, it's quite scientific and it's very well and proven methodologies around the measurement science. Innovation is one aspect, but we have to be sure that what data or the technology we adopt for that gives us the best result and the quality results with the consistency. It is not something that we want to venture out for the new technological innovation every year or every quarter, or the kind of curve we want to prove that, or we want to win some kind of awards or some kind of accolades that we are in the up in the curve. For us, what matters is the technology has to be proven, it has to be scalable, and it should give us the desired results how we are looking for in our overall value chain, so it can serve that need. Having said so, technology is proving kind of a catalyst for each one of us, and basis on that it helps us multiple purposes. One, it keeps us lowering the cost down each passing day and each passing year. It helps us to have a better compute, better processing, as well as the better talent in each passing day. Also, it provides us the kind of a transparency, it provides us a technological advantages in the market, so you can attract a better talent. And most important aspects, now the world has seen a phenomenal growth in the digital adoption, right? So security aspects as well, where actually how we can ensure our end users, our data, and our reputation all are secured with the best use of technology. And that's how we look into it. And basis the use cases, we adopt any new technology with this.
So coming to the collection of data, which you said is very important for the industry. So can you throw some more light, like how you collect data from multiple sources and further democratize it using newest technologies?
So, Chris, I think how Bark India works, the methods and the nature of data collection is anyways available for everyone to consume. They can visit our website and they can see how we do it. Having said so, just want to give us a kind of some background around it. We are having our own proprietary meters, which we call as barometers, right? These barometers are equipped with the watermark techniques. And this watermark technique is a kind of a technique which helps us understand and give a kind of a picture that what the end user is watching or consuming the content on their televisions. And this watermark is fingerprint at the time of content creation and broadcasting itself. That means there's hardly any chances there that this technology actually can be misinterpreted, or certain different kind of annotation can be taken for. We have a very healthy and strong, robust panel of 45,000 plus households across India, which is spread across basis different demographics and the kind of consumption, and it follows the complete sample design, which is required to represent in a true sense of Indian television viewing audiences. From those barometers, if I have to give a kind of magnitude, you can understand that more than a billion signals we receive every day. And when you receive these signals, you have to further amplify it, process it, quality control you have to do it. And when you process this kind of things, it goes into the kind of a multiple permutation and combination you cannot think of. It's a classic big data problem, or people love to, or people want to solve using the technology, right? We have a mandate that every Thursday we are supposed to release the currency in the market without any fail, right? So when you process this kind of a data, you have to ensure that the way you are assembling this information, that is sacrosanct. What you are processing with the algorithm and the statistical design is there, that process the information to the T, and it doesn't leave out any signal due to any kind of technological glitches. Now I want to give you another perspective. India is a vast country, right? And somewhere there are elections are there, sometimes there are some kind of unrests are there, sometimes there is a certain kind of weather calamities are there, right? And due to that, you see the turbulence or disturbance in the kind of consumption as well, and certain time you see the network disturbances as well, right? We have designed the ecosystem in such a way that those meters can provide us the signal back even after 2 to 3 days of data collection. So that means if in certain markets certain kind of unrest is there, or there is some kind of delay in the data is there, we can process the information from back of the pipe. And that's where, if you might have understood, in the currency, when we process this data, we take each and every signal into the accounting, and that's a mammoth job. I think in the technical world, people might understand the kind of term, somebody say late coming dimensions or late coming transaction, actually how to handle that. That's a major process. And I really have a kind of a proud that the way actually we have architected the whole data pipe funnel and the kind of talent we are having, they have done phenomenal job. And with that, we can process the data without any delay, without any kind of glitches, though it looks like very smooth, but it's a kind of a good 24/7 kind of a job. And behind them, there's a very strong team and very strong technical framework is there, which process this information.
And can you share some details on what technology are you using to make sense of this huge amount of data?
Okay, so if you think on the IoT side of it, the meters which are functioning, they are on the BARC indigenous OS platform. So that means we have developed our own operating system on that those IoT devices are functioning on, right? They have the very secure and confirmed protocols across, and basis on that, actually they nurture this information, they send back this information back to our own operational systems, right? Those operational systems are residing on cloud, and we are having a very high availability of those kind of application. That means if something goes wrong, another instance is up without any single second of delay. That means in any given point in time, we can work with the 2 copies of the data, right? And in that kind of environment, we have our own developed complete back office application, and the data travels on the typical M2M kind of a SIM network, which is the machine to machine transmission. We have enforced our own encryption on those data packets. That means, let's say somebody tried to say that, is it possible to hack into those devices? It's impossible. They are tightly coupled into it, and there is a confirmation messaging queue is there. So for example, there is a meter A, it has submitted a communication to the back office, right? The back office confirms back to the meter that I have received this communication. Then only it will send the next queue into it. That means there's a hardly, you don't say hardly, I'm saying it's as good as, like in technical word, you can say impossible, but it's almost impossible that somebody actually can say and confirm in those things. Now, the kind of volumes we are saying, so definitely the cloud comes handy, though we have best in class data center available as well. So what we have done, we have distributed the load across cloud and the data center. Certain things which are batch in nature, which we can process, the huge household work actually we can actually process, and we can keep handy ready for certain things. And where actually we require the kind of a huge volume where the instances keep on going basis on the compute, which is on the statistical algorithm nature, because they are very hungry for the compute and the processing, right? Those are on our Amazon cloud. And in the Amazon cloud as well, we have leveraged the EMR kind of things, because that is like elastic MapReduce, and we are having MPP as well, multiple process processing, right? So those kind of threads and nodes are there. And just to not go into the nitty-gritty, but I think Very soon we are publishing kind of a case study for one of the algorithm which we have recently developed, that how intensive it is, and possibly that in the industry is one of the kind of best kind of work actually this has been deployed on.
And how about use of latest technologies like AI and ML to boost business resiliency and navigate the disruption?
Yeah, so due to the sensitivity of certain things, I can actually not disclose certain areas of it, but you understand that, right? Uh, we use the latest technology around AI, ML in certain aspects of it. Let's say if we have to understand if the trend of the households are in the similar line or expected line, or there is any kind of deviation. If the deviation is natural, or it's a kind of thought deviations are there. At the same time, you understand that we process 10 petabytes of content from across the broadcaster and around 600 channels, right? That's not an easy job. So how the tags are there, what the content is there, the processing of those kind of things, right? It's completely on the newest technologies and the kind of AI machine learning you can talk about. So for example, there is a music or there is a song going on and we have a product around it, or earlier we used to have the similar thing in the some other genres as well, right? Then what is the name of the actor, what is the emotions are associated with, what is the location, what is the kind of fashion content and other things are there. Those all things actually can be navigated using this kind of techniques. So one side we identify how actually we can enrich our quality process and workforce, the same time actually how this data actually can give much better insights in the both function of things. These new technologies actually very handy.
So in this era, like when we are going through a pandemic, no discussion can happen without asking like the hybrid workforce or the work from home culture. So how are you creating a hybrid workforce in this post-COVID era?
I think we were fortunate, and I think we were wise enough. I think every industry reacted in a very wise manner. To be honest, I think we have moved a phase. I think across all the industries where there was a panic, there was a kind of concerns were there. I think now people and the management both actually, I think they understand that it is going to remain sometime in this fashion. So what we have opted earlier, actually we were completely work from home, but since last July, due to the nature of our work, we are kind of a hybrid mode. So certain people do visit to the office. I think what in this nature of work, I think two things are very critical. I think which we have ensured that can work. I think for the organization and for the end user both. One is the security, and second is the virtualization. When I mean with this is, like now everybody is working from home and the digitization actually has increased multi-fold. But at the same time, you see the network or the behind infrastructure or the supporting infrastructure required for such kind of services is not actually grown, or you can say optimized multi-fold, right? Not all the homes are having the fiber, right? So then connectivity is one issue. But when the connectivity is one issue, at the same time when everybody is working from their own Wi-Fi's, or let's say they are using the dongles or they are gathering from their mobile phones and something like that, I think that gives an opportunity for the multiple different kind of vulnerabilities as well, right? Ransomwares are there, security breaches are there. Then you have to ensure that how you can protect your data and the interest of the organization. At the same time, you can give the ease of working for your end users as well. So in those areas, I think we have worked fantastically. We have improved on the security area. At the same time, we have created virtual environments as well for the end users, so they can access their information, or the kind of work should not get hampered in much more efficient way with the low bandwidth kind of a requirement as well, because the data processing from their own home network is not as efficient possibly can be like working from office, right? So that way we are good. BAC management has been always very caring about their employees' well-being and their families. We have taken multiple initiatives around that as well. So for example, the people who are traveling to office, we provide them office provided cars to pick them up to the offices. I think that's a great initiative. At the same time, for vaccination, like any other industry organization, they are doing it. We have taken the initiative that our families and employees both are fully vaccinated in these kind of things. We have created other welfare schemes as well around this, that if people are required for the medical urgencies or the kind of other supports, then we are there to support them as well. So I think in that, I think industry is learning from each other. We have also learned from others. I think certain initiative which we have taken, others might have taken some kind of cue from us. But having said so, I think on technology side of it, it gives, or from a CIO or CTO kind of a hat when you wear, I think it's an added responsibility. Earlier, when you were in the office, bringing the organization culture, ease of doing business, and infusing code of conduct and something, that was the primary responsibility with the HR and the admin teams, right? Now this actually has been coming quite shared or kind of big percentage and proportion to the IT organization as well. When people are working from home, how you can infuse the same collaborative culture, the organization values and ethics, I think that has been added responsibility, I think, and without technology it is not possible. So I think certain KPIs has been increased, certain more responsibilities has come in. At the same time, like the first question you asked, you cannot put any benchmarks down around the innovations. You cannot put down any of the things on your quality and the customer services as well, right? So that means there is added responsibilities, and I think we are learning and we are doing good job, I think, in last 1 year or so.
And would it be possible for you to highlight some of your latest IT projects?
There are multiple folds actually. We are keep on doing certain things and bits. I think last year you might have heard in the media that BARC has launched the landing page elimination kind of things in the market, right? It is very complex. It was a very complex project actually that we did, and in the COVID times actually we have delivered. That means the teams were working from home. We have to collaborate with our different departments for the science purpose, for the statistical algorithm purpose, for the data processing and other things. Just to give an idea, like a landing page you are aware of, right? When you turn on the TV, you might find that some channel is actually coming by default, right? That's a kind of in some way it's like a forced viewing, right? But actually how we can understand it's a forced viewing, or actually you are hooked into it, how much actually I have to knock it off from the viewing and something. It's a very complex thing. There are close to 600 plus channels are there, and you have to eliminate this thing from at all market level, at the town level, at the MOSR level, right? Because how it is happening at different cable operator level, right? And in one town there can be more than 4 or 5 cable operators around, right? And every channel actually can have a different settings, or you can say a different scheme of this combinations around it, right? So when we're identifying this for one channel in certain markets and certain town class, we have seen more than 20,000 plus combinations for permutation combinations. Then you think about 45,000 plus households around the audience of close to 200,000 audiences at market level. What kind of actually volume you are talking about? And it took a good amount of time, but when we delivered it, I think this was phenomenal, and it is giving very profound and very quality sound results into the market. Now, there are other things as well, like we discussed in the other aspects of security and vigilance side of it. We have digitized certain operations around our panel management, and earlier people used to visit the field so often, right? But in the COVID protocols for the household maintenance or to take care of the IoT device functioning and something, right? You cannot visit the household very often. We have digitized certain parts of it, so now application level or basis on the use of the new techniques and something can be managed from like on the call or on the remote kind of assistance as well we can do. I think there have been a lot new initiatives has been taken in this side. AI/ML you talked about for the understanding the viewership patterns and the behavior. We have done certain aspects and certain jobs around those as well.
Yeah. Coming to the last question of the day, it has 2 parts. So number 1 is, how do you see the future of digital at BARC? And if you have to put money on one tech, then which one you'll bet on and why?
I think not one thing, we are putting the money in multiple aspects.
It is just, a question where
I know. So let me answer the first part of it. I think in the digital innovation side of it, there are two aspects to it. I think we are digitizing, and like we keep on saying in the technical world, there is no end to it, and there is no final outcome for anything, right? That is one of the stoppage. From there, you will see something else is coming, and then further you will improvise into it. I think we are on that journey, and we are proud to say that we have learned a lot, we have implemented a lot in last 1+ year, and we are still on in this thing. You will hear more from us in different releases and something that we have done something like that. We have done something like that. Certain things are there under the development in the pipeline, but knowing their sensitive nature and something we cannot disclose right now. You will hear when they will be there. And for what we are doing into the different things and what we are putting the money in, I think one thing which we are doing is, I think we are advancing our complete capabilities around data center and cloud. And I think in this world, if the end users or the clients and everybody actually can access the information in a secure and in a very desired outcome based at what they are looking for, I think that's the primary need. You have to serve that need. Certain systems, certain applications, or certain hardware, or the cloud environments has been created keeping the different needs or different throughput kind of objectives at the time. Now those have changed. So we are revamping in it. So I think definitely, if you ask, that is one. HCI is another area we are looking into it. That is something actually can give. So how actually we can process and perform certain different business decisions to close to the event. We are further improvising on finding out how the new IoT revolution actually can help us take to our barometer, to a new age barometers. Actually, can we do something around that? That is the kind of areas we are working on. But having said so, we require some kind of a gestation period or some kind of complete thought process behind it before actually we make a move. Because for us, every move when we make, that has to be sure, that has to be justified, that why we are doing so, and finally actually how actually it will further validate the kind of outcomes actually we are providing to the market in much better and secure way. I think that's what the things are. So I think few of the things we have named, and I think we are revamping certain these areas, and we will be much more agile, we will be much more nimble, how actually we process the data, and how actually we do a lot, I think, in the coming days.
So thank you very much, Mahen. It was wonderful listening to you, especially when I've come, I've worked in a TV in the past, and I know how people were eager on every Thursday to know about what has happened in the past week. And it was wonderful listening, especially on how technology is used to process and churn that data. And hope to catch you soon and discuss some.
Yeah, Akhilesh, and today is Wednesday and tomorrow is Thursday and 11 o'clock. We have done all the preparation actually to release the currency for tomorrow. So that's how actually the kind of whole step and cycle is. And we are proud to do so. And with the support of the industry, with the support of the fans like you, we will continue doing some good job.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye.